call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Allan Nascimento takes on Cody Durden this Saturday on the main card of UFC Fight Night. And this is a short notice fight for both these guys. Nascimento was supposed to be taking on Rafael Estevam, who was a very pressure heavy grappler, jiu-jitsu black belt as well. Estevam had to pull out, so now Cody Durden is taking this fight on short notice. So definitely a stylistic change up for Allan Nascimento, taking on a guy like Cody Durden, who's can wrestle. He's also a jiu-jitsu black belt as well. I don't think he's going to have the pressure and finishing ability the way that Estevam does, but going to be probably a little bit better in the striking department, mix it up a little. So curious to see how this one plays out. Allan Nascimento, decent striking, big for the division, definitely looking to get it on the ground though, work his jiu-jitsu game, whereas Cody Durden, sprawl and brawl, good boxing, good wrestling, can find submissions, but can be hurt on the feet, can be finished on the ground by submission. So definitely an interesting fight, especially short notice for both these guys. Durden's coming off of a KO loss 4 months ago against Ochoa. He took a lot of damage in his fight against Joshua Van. Before that was KO by Bruno Silva in July of 2024. So he's 1-5 in his last 5 fights. I don't necessarily think we need to worry about Nascimento KOing Durden in this fight, and I think that's why his camp is comfortable in taking this fight on short notice, 4 months after being KO'd. Nascimento's no slouch on the feet, but I don't see him standing and just outstriking Durden for the duration of this fight. I think he's definitely going to look to get this one to the ground. So the question going into this is, can Durden withstand the grappling and the pace for 3 rounds, defending takedowns, defending submission attempts for 15 minutes, taking this fight on short notice? He's got good takedown defense, 74% takedown defense, was like a 2-time Georgia state wrestling champion. And, you look at Nascimento's history on the ground, obviously he's a dominant grappler, but we've seen moments, Jake Hadley had moments with omoplata sweeps, stuffing takedowns, threatening guillotines as he's shooting in, able to kind of scramble back up to his feet. We've also seen Nascimento kind of stay on the ground too long, look to work his guard game against guys, not see a lot of success, but then spend like the majority of the round off of his back just because he's not really able to get anything going, and end up losing fights. We saw that in the Filio fight, even though Filio was making mistakes. We saw that in the Ulambakov fight, and I feel like that's definitely an option going into this fight for Durden, is to stay on top. But Durden gets submitted though. He's been submitted 4 times, been KO'd on the feet twice lately, taking a lot of damage. He was in danger several times in the Jake Hadley fight with guillotines and arm bars, and I just think he gets caught in this one. I can see him offensively wrestling as Nascimento pushes in on the feet. I think Durden should try to keep it on the feet, but his instincts are to wrestle at times. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Maybe he thinks that he can positionally control Nascimento on the ground, stay on top, land ground and pound, stay safe from submissions the way that Ulambakov did. And, I can see him shooting for takedowns, because I think Nascimento will be the one kind of moving forward aggressively in this one, not afraid of the takedown, welcoming it, honestly, and knowing he probably has the better gas tank and the better cardio taking this one with the full camp. So I think the grappling could be initiated by both parties, but I think that Nascimento will be the one really looking to get it to the ground ASAP, and I can see him pushing forward with strikes, looking for the takedown, crashing into the clinch, looking for trips there, looking to hold on to him, work him in the clinch, sap his gas tank. He has a really good single leg. We saw that against Jake Hadley. He can catch kicks for takedowns, and I just think eventually Nascimento is going to get this one to the ground. Whether he shoots a takedown, gets it, whether he pulls guard, I think this will hit the ground, and Nascimento will eventually find his way onto the top. He does a great job of sweeping guys to get back on top. He didn't do very well against Talir and Ulambakov, but Ulambakov's elite, and he had a lot of success against Durden as well. Got the tap out on him. So Nascimento, again, no slouch on the feet. He's one of those guys whose striking is kind of elevated by his submission and takedown threat, and I think he'll be slamming leg kicks on Durden early. Durden doesn't do a good job of really checking him. I think he's the bigger guy. He's taken less damage in his career, has a lot of really good experience, has great cardio to match Durden's cardio, and he's going to be the one going into this with full camp. And he was training for a monster in Estevam, so you know that he was prepared. You know that he was ready to go 3 hard rounds with a lot of grappling and a lot of scrambling, and I just can't help but think that Durden's kind of rushing back into this one. So I'm going to go with a more prepared guy in Allan Nascimento. I think he'll get this one done by submission over Cody Durden, and if not a submission, I think he'll get a decision. Thanks.